glaze is a glass maker basically. It's a glass, and to give different colors, we add metal oxides to it in different forms. So as long as we don't use these heavy metal oxides like lead, cadmium, and
Yeah, yeah.
other waste, it doesn't leach into our food. So then it makes it food safe. Because a lot of times the cheaper ceramics that we are able to buy, they either are very easily chipped or they get cracks in their glaze over a period of time after using them.
Right.
So which should not be the case if we use a good quality raw material. So based on that, we see, of course, of what is our costing. And second, how do you want to position it? But while our products look exactly the same as their conventional products, but inherently they know that it's made out of a better material. So they're happy
Okay.
to easily adopt it in their lifestyle. It doesn't look off or, indifferent in their own other products that they have bought. Because if the products that already exist in our market are more aligned to our vision of environmental impact,
Yeah.
then overall the consumer market will definitely align to it because there's no other alternate option. I have realized uh, there's only so much impact that we can make through making different kinds of products, however impactful or innovative they are. But if we are able to design the policies right and implement them, we can affect and positively impact a whole nation and the world at a large.
Hi, Shashank. Welcome to the Vision Board. So this is our almost our 12th episode, and the intention of getting this platform is to talk to the sustainable and the green heroes of India like you, and Earth Tattva being a very interesting product, which I've studied and done a bit of research. So the first thing I would like to know that you have studied in an ID, right? Yeah, you were a student. You were a student in an ID, and from your master project, something came up. So I have read about it, but it should come from you. What was that project, and how did how did you decide to take a tattva as your first project?
Sure. And thank you for having me today. Uh, so while I was pursuing my master's, I kept questioning myself that how do I add value to the industry or the ecosystem as a professional or as an individual? Because most often what we do is we keep designing different collections and new products. And often it happens that these are iterations of our own versions of something existing, which definitely keeps adding value depending on the shape, the color, the texture, and the material that we use. But the shape or the aesthetics most often is very subjective, and it has to keep changing from trend to trend and from season to season. We have to come up with every time a new collection, and that also brings up with a lot of waste during the production process, the rejections, and then all the unsold pieces and a lot of other things. And with ceramics, what happens is, so I'll tell you how the moment came of how I got the idea. So while during this course, we were taken to industries for our industrial visit to really see how the production happens at a life scale in real industry. And when we visited this industrial cluster, we saw these heaps of production rejects that were thrown on the roadside outside the factories. And that was my epiphany moment to realize that archaeology is actually based on this fact that ceramics don't biodegrade for centuries. We excavate these ancient sites and find these ceramic shards of probably utensils or idols or toys. And then just making an analogy to that, industries today are facing serious issues about what to do with their production rejects because the production has been at its peak since the industrial revolution, since past at least 5 decades, and it's ever increasing because of the demand and the urbanization. So, what do we do with all of this waste? Because it's not just about the waste being accumulated, but all the natural resources that are just stuck there without being, to use to anyone, and also the soil gets degraded. So that's how the idea came that let's do something about this waste rather than making my own version of an existing product. And so I took up as a self-initiated project during my graduation project to see how we can reuse this waste and make something new out of it. so that we can save on natural resources, mining of natural resources. And that's how our Tattva began as a student graduation project.
Very interesting. So, if I can understand, now consider me a novice. Obviously, we know the basics, but as you are the expert, this is an opportunity for me to understand it. So, ceramic production is a linear kind of a production and manufacturing process, and yours is more of a circular manufacturing process. So, what can you just explain it? What is a circular manufacturing process? And if I could understand, it is almost I would say is a zero waste kind of a production.
Yeah, if we do it right, we can achieve zero waste. And so for that, let's first understand what's a linear model that we conventionally have.
Yes.
So we obviously mine these natural resources, which is clay and minerals. We mix it with water. We use it in some form, whether it's a dough form or a liquid form. We make products out of it. We fire it and we glaze it. Basically, we fire it, and it's a finished product, which is good for use in terms of hygiene, whether it's tableware or sanitary ware.
Yeah.
Now, interestingly, what happens with ceramic is when we are working with clay, as long as we don't fire it, clay is dissolvable in water multiple times. Even if we air dry it, we can again dissolve it in water and keep reusing it. But as soon as we fire it, the molecular water is removed from clay and it becomes an irreversible process where the clay then no longer dissolves in water, and that's when clay becomes ceramics. So any fired clay is called ceramics,
Hmm.
which is an irreversible process. And again, so with this linear process, if we get, and during the firing process, nobody has any control on what would happen during that firing process and how many pieces would be good, how many pieces would get cracks. Nobody can predict it. And we get a lot of rejections practically at a ceramic production. So what we do is when we have these rejections from industries, which are being landfilled since decades, we procure these landfill waste, pulverize it to a very fine particle size, mix it with our patented material composition, which is mostly clay, which acts as a natural binder, and turn it into a liquid material, which is casted into plaster molds and made shapes and basically made products out of it. And then again, the process is conventionally the same again, then to glaze it, fire it, and it's a finished good that we get. And the benefit that we get is, uh, so most often, let's also understand the
Yes.
concept of making a recycled product. In
Yes.
theory, it's very simple. We need some kind of dry waste binder. We mix it together, give it a shape, and it becomes a recycled product.
Perfect.
But the point being, what happens at the afterlife of these recycled products? Because usually what happens is we either end up using cement, resin, or some similar kind of binder to make a recycled product. And at the end of life of these products, we can't separate the initial waste and the binder. So eventually these products most often end up in a landfill. So we are just extending the existence of waste into landfill. And what we are doing is we are using clay itself as a binder for this ceramic waste, because clay after firing, as we discussed, turns into ceramics. So we are essentially working with a mono material, which helps us to keep recycling these products from multiple cycles.
Right, right. So is that why it is a circular kind of a manufacturing?
Yes.
Okay, okay. So I just want to add one more thing. What is a binder?
So binder is so the ceramic waste that we have doesn't have any property that binds it together. It's just like a particle.
Right,
Now
right.
we need some kind of moisture or some kind of binding agent to put it together. And clay has this natural property of binding things, right? It sticks together.
Right.
So that's why it holds the material together. So if we have
Together.
60% of waste material which cannot
Hmm.
stick together, we use
Mm-hmm.
40% of clay that acts as a binder so that it holds all the materials together and makes a whole of 100%.
Right, right. And what I have seen also is that there is a IP product that you have which is called Tatva Mix, right? Can you tell
Yes.
me about that? What is Tatva Mix and why you have decided to IP it?
Yeah. So Tattva Mix is basically the brand name for our material mix,
Hmm.
which is the recycled ceramic.
Right, right. So and why the IP?
So the IP is for the material composition, not the trademark for Tattva Mix.
Okay, okay, got it. So, in one of the article that I have read, so it is written that it is 35% stronger, 100% recyclable, and 100% food safe, right? So,
Yes.
I want to know, because we use a lot of ceramic. Now, I'm not talking about the circular, product that you make, and I mean the sustainable one. I'm not talking about that. What is actually a food safe product? How do you know it is a food safe product?
So first is any ceramic has to be glazed, at
Hmm.
least in the parts where it comes directly in contact with food,
Hmm.
because glaze is essentially glass. And
Okay.
glass, as we know, is the most inert material that does not interact with our food. So it's always good to, so that's why we traditionally keep our pickles in glass jars or even ceramic jars, because it doesn't have any kind of reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Second, it's very easy to clean glass. So that's why anywhere that where we need hygiene, whether it's with our food products or sanitation, we use ceramic wares because the glaze makes it very easy to clean things.
Right. Right.
So, and secondarily, to make it food safe, so one is of course having the glaze itself, and within the glaze, we should not use any heavy metal oxides. So metal oxides are essentially used to as colorants in ceramic production. So glaze is a glass maker basically. It's a glass, and to give different colors, we add metal oxides to it in different forms. So as long as we don't use these heavy metal oxides like lead, cadmium, and
Yeah. Yeah.
other waste, it doesn't leach into our food. So then it makes it food safe.
Got it. Got it. So, I just want to shift a bit, and then maybe I can come back to the technical side of it. So, when we're studying in NID, I don't think ceramic was in your mind at all, right? So, at that point of time, what were you thinking about? What was the future like? And then suddenly the FFNA happened. I know that you have mentioned. So, at that point of time, can I know a little bit more? Let's get little deeper into your journey.
Sure. So, but just to clarify, at NID, we have a whole discipline for ceramic and glass design, and I was a part of that discipline. So the course was about ceramic and glass under the umbrella of industrial design.
Okay, then it is more interesting than why ceramic. It will be my
Yes.
question.
Yeah, that's again, it's a really interesting journey for me itself to go
Yeah.
through. So since my early days as a school student, I was involved heavily with exploring different materials and doing hands-on crafts. And I've extensively worked with paper as an art form. And then I pursued my bachelor's in design in animation. So even in animation, because I wanted to, I enjoyed working hands-on with tangible materials. I specialized in stop motion animation, where we make these miniature sets and move them frame by frame to make a whole short film. So that is something that intrigued me and got me into the depths of material exploration and the application of it. Then I was freelancing as a set designer in the advertising industry for 2 years after my undergraduation. So that's when I came across this practice where, so we invested heavily into buying or sourcing new materials and different kinds of things to build a set. And we, of course, invested a lot of efforts as well. But the point being, after the shoot was over, probably after a couple of hours or a few days, the set mostly was discarded. Two reasons for that. One, because the industry is so rich, they can just afford to do that. Second, the shooting floor is booked one after the other for various shoots. Nobody really has time to think about what to do with this set. And I was not very comfortable with this situation because I have this inclination of not wasting resources and probably using the leftovers of previous projects and making something new out of it. So then I thought I anyways had to pursue my post graduation. So why not do it in ceramics? Because while working extensively with paper, I had this uh, something that was holding me back, that I could not use these products that I was making because paper did not offer so much durability. So
Hmm.
that's why my thought process was, what if I learn to work with clay and ceramics? I can make something with hands, fire it and glaze it, and it would be a ready to use product. So that's why I applied for this course in Masters in Industrial Design in Ceramic and Glass. So that was the whole process that got me into ceramics in the first place. And then while I was uh, pursuing the course, I realized that the assignments are the same, right, at any institute across the batches. So everyone probably is doing similar things, and at the end of the course, we might have similar skill sets. So how
Right.
do we really add value and give the variety of inputs in the industry? How do we really innovate overall beyond aesthetics? Because again, I have been observing that aesthetics is so subjective. How can we make people happy with these things?
Yeah.
And it was not something that would go for a long way. We have to keep changing things, and then even if it's good, but people may not find. That's what I faced as a freelancer as well in the service industry. That it may be working for that brief, but the client doesn't like it because of some personal inclination and biases. That you have to keep changing and giving them, offering them iterations of the same thing. So that was a lot energy consuming, time consuming, and didn't really work out well. And the similar thing is happening here as well. In fact, there's a lot of wastage in testing out different things to make new products, new shapes. So hence I had this thought in mind, why not work on a new material that consumes waste, lowers mining for resources, and is objectively meaningful for all of us, which
Hmm.
everybody can use and continue making all the beautiful products that they are making.
Right, right. Very interesting. So tell me something from what you have said. I just picked up something that so we can get a ceramic product anywhere actually for that matter, right? Even we stay in Gurgaon, and there's a place called Banjara Market which is full of ceramic product. And so how do you define the pricing and everything for the end customer, and how do you create that unique value point of your product? Is it really difficult? Because if I just say ceramic, it is a very accessible product for all, right? It is not something which is not I mean I can get it anywhere, even in my nearby shop. So how do you create a value around your product, because your product is not just any ceramic?
Yes. So overall, first is through the aesthetics, of course, the most direct way that we can understand. Second is the longevity and the quality of the products. And by quality, I'm not saying based on aesthetics,
Hmm.
but the materials that we use. Because a lot of times the cheaper ceramics that we are able to buy, they either are very easily chipped or they get cracks in their glaze over a period of time after using them.
Right.
So which should not be the case if we use a good quality raw material. So based on that, we see, of course, of what is our costing. And second, how do you want to position it? Because even though it's recycled and so much of research has gone into it, it's been 4 years that we are working on it, and hopefully we'll be launching in a month from now.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't want people to now consider that, okay, now even ceramics can be recycled, so if we get something broken, it's okay, we can buy something new, or it will be replaced. So we want to position it in a way that it's not super expensive, but it is seen in a respectable way. It stands at par with other branded products, but it's not seen as any other uh, product that's available at a roadside. So that's how we want to position it for now.
So, can you tell me some key consumer, observations that you've seen who is buying your product? Do you find them different from any other kind of consumer, that they're already aware of your product, or they want to be part of this circular economy? Uh, are these customers, are these consumers a little different? Are they little aware of the things which is happening all around?
Oh, yes, definitely. I mean, our product may not be for everyone right now because everyone may not understand
Mm-hmm.
what it really stands for. And so, since my project, I was not up for making a form or shape for this material. I have been told by a lot of people that I should design a shape that becomes an identity for this material. But my stand was that is exactly what I don't want to do, because this should become a new normal. Now that we know how to do it, all the things that are made out of ceramics should essentially be made using a similar composition so that we use less natural resources. And we should not be talking about this. It should just become a normal thing.
Hmm.
And that's why I don't want a particular shape to become its identity. Second, our consumers are, I mean, our potential buyers are aware that ceramics is not accepted in the scrap market because they have experienced this themselves, that if something gets broken at home, nobody is accepting it in the scrap market. So we
Okay.
usually have paper, metal, plastics that we give in the scrap market to recycle. But nobody even accepts ceramics, which is something that bothers them, and they know that it's a concern, and they're happy to find a better solution for it. And second, in terms of aesthetics, people who are more driven by either the price range or aesthetics of it, they definitely want a lot of prints on them. While our products currently are quite minimal, they have a very nice matte finish on it and some speckles, but it's a very plain color right now. We don't put prints on it because putting prints also adds to a lot of wastage. If the print is
Yes.
not transferred properly, but the product is fully functional, it has to go to rejects. So that's why right
Mm.
now we are not doing it. And the biggest positive feedback that we have been receiving from our consumers is that they want to use these recycled organic or natural products, but most often, if the existing offering that we see in the market of these kinds of products have a very different kind of aesthetic, which does not usually suit their lifestyle. It mostly has dull colors, has a very rough finish, and a lot of other things. But while our products look exactly the same as their conventional products, but inherently they know that it's made out of a better material. So they're happy
Okay.
to easily adopt it in their lifestyle. It doesn't look off or indifferent in their own other products that they have bought.
So, if I can understand, you have spent a lot of time, in researching about the market, about the product, and because you understand the material of, the material science behind it. So you also know. So, which are the top cities of India which you think are very aware of this kind of product or this kind of sustainability space? What are the top 5 cities of India which you think are very, very aware customers?
So definitely it's going to be Bangalore, Hyderabad, Mumbai, Delhi, and so one could be any other city. Then that's difficult, but these four definitely.
These four are quite aware, right?
Yeah.
And how do you plan to scale it? Your product, your company, and how? Because what I understand, because you have this IP kind of a thing. So
Hmm.
can you just can anybody can develop your product? Is it possible that a small factory maybe in Assam or in West Bengal can also make your product? Is it possible?
Yeah, so that's the beauty of this metal as well. So since the day we started working on this project, I had this vision that we should be able to use this in any conventional process.
Mm, mm.
Otherwise, what happens is we see a lot of green materials existing in the market, but to make products out of it, we need to invest upfront huge amounts to get new machinery or technology to be able to process that material and make finished products out of them. But
Right,
with this material, we can do it at any existing conventional ceramic manufacturing setup with
right.
zero increased cost. So that way, the end products becomes more affordable. So that ways anybody can start using it, and
Mhm.
that's what we also want to do. But of course, we definitely need to earn through this innovation as well. So that's why we to as a long-term plan and for expansion, we look forward to license out the use of this composition through our patent to existing manufacturers so that they can have an impact at their own scale. And eventually, it becomes a new normal, and every brand starts selling recycled ceramics. And of course, so if we see the scale of production, most industries in India have a scale of production of 10 tons of material per day. So
Okay.
if even with one industry, they're using this material, we can save 6 tons of material on a daily basis. So imagine how much impact we can have with so many industries using this material.
And how big is the market, Shashank?
So in India itself, the market is of around 8.7 billion, but this is considering all kinds of
Hmm.
ceramics,
Hmm.
whether it's
Hmm.
sanitary ware, tiles, tableware, technical ceramics. Yeah.
So, are you guys also into other kind of products or only tableware now?
Right now, we are launching with tableware because we want to break a lot of myths with this. One is that you can't make a food safe product with such high amount of recycled content.
Mm-hmm.
Second is, so if you see across spectrum right now of all the recycled products that are available in the market, the first thing that you see is bricks made out of recycled material. So I'm not saying it's easy to do it because there's a lot of composition and the technical performance that goes into doing it. but there's no shape or form to it right
Okay.
now in most
Okay.
of the recycled materials.
Okay.
It's mostly a cuboid to make a brick.
Hmm.
And that's why we want to start with tableware, because with tableware you can have a lot of different shapes made out of recycled material. That shows the potentiality of that material, and of course making it food safe. And with tableware, what happens is it is the only product in the ceramic industry that the end users choose to buy themselves. If we start making tiles or sanitary ware or any other architectural application, there are a lot of people who are part of that project who might influence the decision making of the
Yes.
end users.
Yes.
And if we are not able to align them with our vision, or we are not able to give them enough margins, they might not even pitch our product to them, which
Hmm.
is a big drawback to our vision. So with tableware, what happens is the end users buys because they are invested in the thought, in the vision. And then these products act as talk triggers on dinner tables, because we always like to tell our guests when we are having dinner that why did we buy this bowl, from where did we buy it from. It helps us to initiate conversations about conscious consumerism and helps us to get organic word of mouth promotion.
Right. So, what are your top five learnings in the last 3 years? I think you started in the year 2020, if I'm not wrong, right? Your
So we
company.
registered the company in 2020, but the project has been started since October 2018.
2018. Okay. So,
Yeah.
what are your top five learnings? Because I find this particular product to be, I mean, there has to be some kind of, motivation every day to, go there and do something different and create some kind of, market, some kind of language, new language actually. It is just not a usual marketing, right? That you're selling a plate or a tableware or something. There is a story behind it. So, what are your top five learnings from all these years of research and doing business?
So the first and biggest since past 2 years at least is that things are not going to go as planned,
Hmm.
but we have to keep moving forward in the right direction. Hopefully, things will move towards a tipping point, and then eventually things will materialize. So that's one. So it's okay. I mean, leaving the control behind, we just have to do our part. That's the first. Second is the intention matters more, because there are a lot of good products, but if the intention is just to make money, it will reflect in what we say or what we do, and people will just gauge that. So being genuine is, I think, of utmost importance. Second, showing the value to others, rather, I mean, value beyond features. So how
Yes.
do people add value to this? So if they are using this, they are able to contribute to environment without changing their lifestyle. So that's a value that we add to their lifestyle. And so as makers, we believe that the makers, it's the onus on the makers to have the product that is sound in terms of whether social responsibility or environmental responsibility, not on the consumers. Because if we don't have any environmentally bad product available in the market, we
Hmm.
won't buy in the first place.
That is true.
So that's the third. Fourth one would be finding the right team. It's very difficult, but so what we did fortunately was we are out there in the market as an idea, at least since past 3 years, and now things are coming to us. People are approaching us to be a part of our team. People are approaching us to probably put our products out, whether it's their stores or their community. So just putting out there, after doing some meaningful work, then opportunities will come to us directly rather than we keeping approaching to others. So that's the fourth. And fifth one is just keep showing up every day. Progress every day on a, step by step will take us a very long way rather than thinking of a very big goal. Because this is a mistake that I think I also did. I wanted to make it big in the first phase itself, but we are still stuck on the step one. And now I've realized, okay, let's keep moving slowly ahead, keep growing rather than start directly jumping to a very big game.
I think that is a big learning being an entrepreneur, that it is a long term game. It is not just about today or tomorrow. It is also about, seeing and creating a vision out there and the team to stick to it, for a longer game, interesting game. Uh, who are the top designers who inspire you, Shashank? Because in your kind of business, the aesthetics is very, very important. Understanding of the material is very, very important. understand the customer psyche is very, very important, and understand profitability is also important, being you the founder of an organization. So who inspires you? Who are the people you kind of look up to give yourself a boost every day? Because as you have said, your last point is show up every day. That is the most crucial thing to do. That whatever it is, yesterday is yesterday, today I have to get up and go to work and do something interesting.
Again, for these questions, I don't have any particular names, but I look forward or look at the works by all the people across different spectrums, and I like to mix different verticals together, different fields,
Yeah,
and
please.
that really goes a long way. I really don't have any particular names, but people who are working probably in the uh, fields of making vehicles for disabled people. I mean, I've seen these case studies and they have made remarkable products and impact to their work. Or people who are doing gardening and just have grown forests all by themselves. So amazing. So it's just all these stories that I keep reading on various channels. So I am also not a very social media savvy person, so I am not aware of all the things happening around the world. But whenever I keep get a chance to read something, I just keep motivating myself to get to know these stories across different spectrum. It doesn't matter if they are designers or engineers or from the medical field, but anyone who is doing good, even if it's not related to innovation, but just doing something good to make the world better, even if someone is helping someone, it's something that motivates me. And then I feel that it's my onus to do something good with what I am doing so that other people get inspired to probably follow their dreams, to have courage and keep doing something what they have always pursued.
We are almost in the last leg. I have few more questions, if you don't mind. Uh, you are a very young entrepreneur. While making your team, because this is going to be a core team, right? Because it's a young group, it's a young company. What are the things you look for in your while hiring people? Or I don't call them hire, they are more like a family. It becomes like a family if it is a very young and a new company. So what are the things you look for into an individual while asking them to join your organization?
So first thing is, I personally look for people with inclination for with towards our vision rather than the skill, because I believe skill can always be garnered if you have interest in it. If
Right.
someone is doing this just to see it as a job, as a way to earn uh, salaries, they may not be really invested into what we want to do and may not really push limits individually and as an organization. And this is something that I learned from, again, a cross connection of different industries. I was watching making of Chak De India, and that's where they when they were doing their casting, they were first trying out the camera test with actual hockey players,
Yeah, yeah.
and they were very good at playing hockey, but they could not act, which was a very big setback for the team,
Yes.
because it's a commercial venture and they had to make it successful. So then what they decided is they are going to cast professional actors and then teach them how to play hockey, which was much easier. And that's what I try to implement in our team as well. So people who really believe in what we are doing, and I enjoy working with material and doing something innovative. And even if they are not best at their skill, but they are interested, so they will keep learning. And we all learn. I am also still learning about it.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's something that we look for.
So, that remind me something that in one of the interviews and in one of the conversation, somebody told me that, CEO is not actually a chief execution officer. CEO is basically, it should be CVO. It's like chief visionary officer, because you are setting the vision for others to, be part of it. And as you have said, it should not be about salary, because that is easy. You give money, people can come and then they will leave. But if you give them a vision, if you can make them feel part of your vision, which becomes their vision, in longer term. So I just wanted to know, what is the vision that you have created for Earth Tattva? Maybe it is different today, maybe it will be different tomorrow, but the day you have conceptualized it, what was it, and has it changed over time?
So the vision is to be able to scale up this impact of using recycled material in a regular manufacturing setup so that all the products that are currently being made are made using recycled, because we have so much of recycled material lying as a dead weight across the planet.
Yes, yes.
So if you're able to use it, so that's the vision, to be able to make this a new normal in the
Hmm.
ceramic industry and turn the linear ceramic industry into a more circular industry. So to answer your earlier question about other products that we are working on, we are not working on products as such, but we are
Hmm.
working on different materials already,
Hmm.
because now we have realized it takes so long to actually commercialize a new innovative material. So we have already started working on two different innovations. One is the pottery material that we use on the wheel. So there are a lot of studio ceramists in the country. So they face this concern about so much of wastage coming out during their firing process. So they have shown interest in using a recycled pottery material which they can use on the wheel and make products out of. So we have started to research on making that composition with high recycled material. And second is, ceramic industry cannot exist without plaster of Paris molds,
Hmm.
because plaster absorbs water from the clay and gives it a shape. And these molds have very limited life that they offer in terms of usability. And after that, it's again discarded and it's a waste. It cannot be regenerated as of now. So we're trying to recycle or regenerate that waste of plaster from molds and make a new material out of it.
Right, right. And my last question is, Shashank, what is your um, point of view, or what do you want to say to the policymaker, that how they can make better policies, what kind of policies they should make so that sustainability become the normal thing in India, because it is high time for all of us to understand the way everything is happening around us. It is happening in such a small capsule that maybe we are not able to see, but the impact will be exponential, and someday we'll all be part of that disaster. So, what are the things, as a young entrepreneur, as a young founder, as a responsible, conscious citizen, or what do you think you have to say to the policymakers?
So first is, we need to design policies considering all the stakeholders, because usually it becomes a top-down approach
Mm.
where we are sitting at an office and then think about a lot of things and draft a policy. But if we interact with the primary direct stakeholders across different levels and then design a policy, that would be easy to implement as well. Second is to bring it from the industrial side of it, because if the products that already exist in our market are more aligned to our vision of environmental impact,
Yeah.
then overall the consumer market will definitely align to it, because there's no other alternate option. So these
Right.
are the two things that, and in fact, I myself, I'm trying to get into the realm of policy making,
Right.
because I have realized uh, there's only so much impact that we can make through making different kinds of products, however impactful or innovative they are. But if we are able to design the policies right and implement them, we can affect and positively impact a whole nation and the world at a large. So that's also, so systems design is something that really intrigues me and I like to work towards it. And that's why I'm slowly moving towards policy design as well, in association with different agencies.
So you teach also, right? I mean, one of your
Yes.
profiles. So who do you teach? And is it is it the ceramic industry or industrial thing that you are teaching? What exactly you teach?
Yeah, so right now my vision is to align all the students, whether they are from design or engineering or probably even management as well, to incorporate SDGs in some kind or the other way in their projects, in their academic projects. So the vision is that, so that by the time they become young professionals, they would already be aligned with this idea of doing a social, having a social impact through their work, whatever stream they are working towards. And I believe everyone has some or the other interest across different 17 SDGs. Someone is
Right.
passionate about water, someone is passionate about communities. So if we are able to incorporate these things as a student itself, we'll have so many different kinds of innovative projects coming from different disciplines. So even if we are not able to commercialize these, but these ideas would already exist, and probably these young professionals will then contribute towards our workforce as a more centered and aligned people, rather than right now we working only for money.
It is a chain reaction. I can tell you that teaching has that chain reaction. You create those chains, and then it has an exponential impact. Thank you very much for being part of this platform. Thank you for sharing our ideas. Hope to meet you soon. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for this opportunity.